Hey everyone, Eric Smith here to talk about comic books, Captain America, Secret Empire. I'm doing this video because Secret Empire 0 just came out and there's more controversy surrounding Captain America. This isn't a comic book quickie because it's not going to be quick. And that little video series I tried to do hasn't been going the way I planned, but I'll talk more about that in a different video. But I did want to talk about this. So, there's going to be spoilers if you haven't been keeping up with the Steve Rogers Captain America comic book series, and you haven't read Secret Empire 0 yet. Be warned, spoilers. First of all, I've collected comics all my life, but there was a period about 4 years ago now, I think, where I stopped due to financial reasons and other things. And I came back last year for two reasons. The DC Rebirth, I wanted to see what that was all about, excuse me. And there was a big controversy around this new comic, Steve Rogers' Captain America. Because on the final page, Captain America says, "Hail Hydra." And so I went out, I had to pick it up and see what was going on. So I grabbed it, I read it, I didn't see what all the fuss was about. First of all, people were just going nuts that Captain America was apparently a Hydra agent. It destroyed everything they'd ever known about this wonderful, wholesome, all-American hero. And it was insulting to his Jewish creators, etc., etc. Now, personally, I had faith in the writer, the creators of this book. Nick Spencer is the writer. There have been a number of artists throughout the series so far, and they are up to, pardon me, up to issue 16 at this point. But anyway, I had faith in the writers that they're going somewhere with this. It's I don't understand people that go nuts. They've just read the first issue. That's it. The big reveal is at the end, and people are going crazy without knowing the story. To me, that's like watching... I mean, I guess if you watch a movie, you can watch the first 15 minutes and tell if it's a good movie or not, I suppose. But just watching the first 15 minutes of a movie and thinking you know exactly what's going to happen, well, that can happen too. This is a bad analogy. Forget it. Forget I said anything about that. Reading the first chapter of a book and thinking you know exactly what's going to happen, I don't know. I just think it's crazy to have read this issue and just go insane. Because, hey look, it's issue 2 a month later. What does that say? The secret history of Steve Rogers revealed. 1 month later, we find out why Captain America is saying, "Hail Hydra." Now here's the thing, and this is where we get into the spoilers. The biggest spoilers, I think. This is why Captain America is a Hydra agent. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Hopefully I'll get it right. During the most recent Secret War, S.H.I.E.L.D. created a place called Pleasant Hill where they put all these villains and they mind-wiped them and made them think they were normal citizens and stuff. Captain America, or Steve Rogers, for some reason was an old man at this point. Again, I had been out of comics for 3 years, so I didn't read any of this stuff. I just know from the reading I've done since then. Steve Rogers was an old man. So there's a prison break, essentially, and old man Steve Rogers is getting the crap kicked out of him. Now, a cosmic cube is this thing that has ultimate power. If you wield the cosmic cube, you can create reality in any way you want. And this particular cosmic cube has taken the form of a small girl. And she, for lack of a better term, has been brainwashed by the Red Skull. She believes Hydra is the way things should be. She believes in Hydra, the organization. So she sees old man Steve Rogers getting the crap kicked out of him. She wants to save him, so she remakes Steve Rogers as the best possible version of Steve Rogers that he can be, which in her little brainwashed 8-year-old cosmic cube mind means that Steve Rogers is part of Hydra. So, Steve Rogers has been recreated as a young, buff Captain America who believes, or I guess in a sense, because his reality has been altered, he has always been an agent of Hydra. But only his reality has been altered. Nobody else's. But that's right there in issue 2. So, people were complaining that, and this I don't get, that the entire history of Captain America was tainted. They're saying that he was all of these, how many years, 70 plus years of Captain America stories are tainted by the fact that we're supposed to believe he was a Hydra agent that whole time. But if you read this story, if this second issue, no, that's not what they're saying. They're saying that in the reality of Steve Rogers' mind, he was a Hydra agent. That's it. But anyway, all right, so that's what's been going on in Steve Rogers' Captain America. For these 16 issues, he's been working essentially as an undercover Hydra agent. He answers to the Red Skull, but he's actually been working against the Red Skull because he thinks the Skull is weak and taking and more interested in personal glory than the glory of Hydra. So he's already, right off the bat, saved a couple people that he was supposed to kill for the Skull. We see him being Captain America, doing Captain America things while working behind the scenes and sort of not quite being as victorious as he might normally be. And there's all sorts of stuff going on. There's this planetary shield defense, not shield the organization, but a literal energy shield that can go around the Earth. The Chitauri are going to invade. Maria Hill, again, lots of spoilers here. Maria Hill is ousted as director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Captain America is made the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Everything's going according to his plan. And in these 16 issues, we're getting modern-day stuff, and we're getting the flashbacks to see the history of Steve Rogers as an agent of Hydra. How he's trained, how he eventually does become Captain America, etc. And all of this is leading up to Secret Empire, and it ties in with the Thunderbolts. Not going to get too much into that, but this is the most recent issue of Thunderbolts, and you can see it says Secret Empire opening salvo. There's Baron Zemo, who created the Thunderbolts. There's Winter Soldier, a.k.a. Bucky. So you have Thunderbolts tying into this, and it all leads up to Secret Empire 0. I love that picture. There were, I think, 3 different covers at my comic shop, maybe even more. I thought that was the coolest one, so I grabbed this cover. Now, the reason I'm making this video is this comic came out, and people are again going crazy. And I believe some people are misinterpreting the beginning of this comic, the sort of prologue to this prologue, because what we have is a scene from 1945, and Captain America, who is a Hydra agent at this time, is told that the Allies have created a cosmic cube, and they're going to use it to remake reality into what they want. They're going to make a reality where the Allies have won the war, the Nazis have been defeated, Hydra has been defeated, and Captain America is the ultimate American superhero. This is what's being told to Steve Rogers, that he is really an agent of Hydra, but the Allies are going to use this cosmic cube to make it seem as if he was never an agent of Hydra. He's always been a good American soldier. And people seem to take this literally. But what you have to remember is these flashbacks are the altered reality of Steve Rogers. So this is simply what he thinks happened. It's not, I could be completely wrong here, but I don't think I am. It's not what actually happened. So these people that seem to think, at least in the reactions that I've seen to this issue, the people that seem to think this comic is saying Steve Rogers has literally always been an agent of Hydra, they're wrong. That's not what this is saying. It's simply reinforcing what he believes. So, what we have is a cosmic cube in the form of a small child that believes Hydra is the future. You know, that's the way to go. Hydra is the best thing for the Earth, for the planet, for humanity. Remade Captain America, or Steve Rogers, and in doing so made him believe these things. So I did say somewhere, I think the title of this will have the word review in it. So my review of all of this, I love it. I think this is fantastic storytelling. I've always been a fan of alternate histories and things. I loved What If, the What If title from Marvel. I love a lot of the Elseworlds stuff from DC. And to me, this is sort of an alternate history from one person's point of view. Because again, Steve Rogers is the only person, really, that... I guess there are other Hydra agents that, well, I mean, there's a point where he has to convince Baron Zemo that what he believes is true, what Steve Rogers believes is true. He convinces Zemo that they were always friends, etc., etc. But even that maybe he didn't actually convince him. We'll find out as we continue reading the story. Finish the story, people, before you go nuts. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, I think it's a great story. I think it's well written. It's interesting. I love seeing this new perspective that Steve Rogers has. It's fascinating to me. I think the writing has been great. I think the artwork, for the most part, has been fantastic. The twists and turns in the story, as Steve Rogers tries to maintain his false identity as a hero and tries to keep the Red Skull from figuring out that Steve Rogers has an agenda of his own. And the twists and turns, it's fantastic. And then in Secret Empire Zero here, wow, we see basically everything come to fruition. And I'm not going to go into, I'm going to try, I already told you the beginning, the little prologue-y part. I'm not going to go into the rest of the story, what's happening in the now, as it were. But man, when you see all the pieces of Steve Rogers' plan fall into place, I think it's great. And I want to see where this goes. And I mean, I can compare this whole thing to a couple of things. The death of Superman. Anybody who believed back in the day when they had the big Death Superman event, anyone who believed the Superman was really dead forever was just nuts. And of course, he wasn't. And I personally think the same thing here. Anyone who thinks that Captain America always has been literally a Hydra agent and will always be a Hydra agent, I think you're crazy. Eventually, you're going to get your Steve Rogers All-American Captain America back. and then I can take this Hydra pin off of my shirt. But you're going to get good old Cap back. But until then, enjoy this story. The other thing that it reminds me of is the Clone Saga, the Spider-Man Clone Saga, which, while I think was a great idea, it was poorly executed, which is where the difference is here. I think this is also a great idea, and I think it's amazingly executed. The Clone Saga was fascinating, but the reaction from fans, I don't get it. For those who don't know, really quickly, at the beginning of the Clone Saga, it's revealed that the Peter Parker who'd been around for the past 20 years worth of comic books was actually a clone. It wasn't the real Peter Parker. And fans went nuts. I literally saw people saying, or expressing, I guess, how upset, how angry, how hurt they were that they'd spent 20 years reading about a fake Peter Parker. Of course, my first reaction was, there is no real Peter Parker. Sorry to any Peter Parkers out there. But I'm pretty sure that in the real world, no one named Peter Parker or anybody else has ever been bitten by a radioactive spider and gained superpowers. It's storytelling. So to complain that you've been reading about a fake Peter Parker, to me, is just ridiculous. But more importantly, my question is, did you enjoy the stories? Whether or not it's the real Peter Parker or not, did the stories make you happy and sad and excited and shocked? Did you enjoy them? Were they well written? Were they well told, well illustrated, hopefully, stories? That's the important part. And that's what this comes down to as well. Just the idea that the creators of Captain America would be insulted by this story, or the fact that people seem to think this negates the past 70 years of Captain America stories because he was a Hydra agent the whole time. It's ridiculous. And again, the question is, did you enjoy reading those stories? My personal favorite Captain America run was when Mark Waid and Ron Frenz were on the book for a short time before Heroes Reborn and then after. I think Heroes Reborn is what that's stupid. You want to talk about stories that should be forgotten. That year of Heroes Reborn, when I think it was Jim Lee and when Rob Liefeld was doing Captain America, I think it was Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld took a bunch of characters, blah, blah, blah. Forget it. That stuff that should be lost to history. Horrible storytelling, horrible, just horrible. But Mark Waid and Ron Frenz loved the stories, loved the artwork. Everything worked for me. So even if, oh my God, Steve Rogers was a Hydra agent the whole time, who cares? I loved those stories. I still love those stories. And that's what it comes down to. This is entertainment. I understand some people might not dig this particular story. They don't like the idea of the twists. Maybe they don't like this type of story with the twists and turns and the reveals and all of this. But to be upset as if this isn't real history. It's fake, people. And I don't know. I just don't understand why so many people seem to be so upset by this. And misinterpreting, which is what really got me to do this video in the first place. Seeing the reactions to this and what I really believe is a misinterpretation of the beginning of this story. So, anyway, okay, so this is a review and a rant. The review is, it's great stuff. It's wonderful storytelling. You can just read the Steve Rogers Captain America run. If you read Thunderbolts, which I do, it's almost always been a book that I've enjoyed. I lost interest when it became a Fight Club kind of thing, but that's neither here nor there. You don't have to read Thunderbolts to get the whole story. There are some... it does tie into some other issues lightly. Captain America, Sam Wilson, Uncanny Avengers, apparently. And then I'm looking at the back of the book here. It shows some things. There's going to be some Secret Empire one-shots, I think. Maybe minis. Secret Empire Uprising. I don't believe I'm getting all of the things that tie in. Just the Steve Rogers Captain America and the main Secret Empire books, I think, is what I'm getting. And any of the regular books I get that tie in, well, that's just, I get those books anyway. So, I recommend it. If you want to go find the trade paperbacks for the older issues of Captain America, because I'm not sure how readily available these are as individual issues, but I'm sure you can get a trade paperback and get the whole story, and then pick it up. I think it's great storytelling. I think it's ridiculous to be incensed by it, and I think it's ridiculous to believe that everything isn't going to go back to as normal as things get in comic books. You know, Superman's alive, Peter Parker's the real deal, Captain America is going to be Mr. Boy Scout, rah rah America again, eventually. But until then, why not enjoy the ride? I guess that's it. I'm not sure. I feel like there was more I was going to say. I guess just relax, people. They're comic books. I'm umming a lot here because there's just, my head's just going nuts with this. I was behind on my comic book reading, so I just grabbed, let's see, we'll take these two out. I grabbed all of these books and just read them in the past hour or so I could catch up because I wanted to talk about this. But there you have it. As I said, not a quickie. I am going to do more comic book quickies videos. They obviously have not worked out as I planned, so basically, if I read something that I want to talk about, I'll just do a quick video. If something new comes out that I think is cool, I'll do a quick video. It's going to be just sort of a random thing whenever I feel like it. I'm not going to try to keep it organized. But this is something I really wanted to talk about, review, rant. Lots of spoilers, so hopefully I didn't ruin too much for you. But you were warned at the beginning of the video, so hail Hydra, and go Captain America. And it's fiction, people. I don't actually support Hydra. I support the good guys. But I'm just making a statement. See, I got my pin, my Hydra pin, and my Captain America shirt. Right. So, if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are always open for spoilers. Just be polite, post a spoiler warning. Feel free to rant. I don't know if I'm going to get comments on this or not. I'm sure if I... Well, I shouldn't say I'm sure if I do, but I wouldn't be surprised to get some dissenting points of view. And please feel free to share. As I said, I could be... I don't think I am, but I could be wrong in my interpretation of that little prologue in Secret Empire Zero. If you have a different interpretation and you can convince me, please try. Just let's be respectful. That's all I ask in the comments section. No need for name calling or vitriol. So please comment. Please, and again, if I made any mistakes in anything I said, please let me know. As I said, I just came back to comics with Steve Rogers, Captain America #1. So that sort of history, I talked a little bit about what happened before that. I may have gotten some things wrong. And let me know if I did. Please like, share, and subscribe. So I guess that's it. I've ranted and raved and for a good long time here. So that's it. Until next time, read more books.